To be eligible for the study, participants had to meet the following criteria. 1. Self-identify as Chinese. 2. Be enrolled in high school grades 912. And 3. Reside in Chicago or the surrounding suburban area. The selection of participants for interviews aimed to ensure representation from different gender groups, generational statuses, pre-immigration regions, based on dialects spoken at home, residential areas within Chicago, high schools, grade levels, and APITA youth organizations. After completing the online survey, selected participants were invited by the PI to participate in an in-depth interview with either the PI or another interviewer. The interviews were conducted over the phone or on Zoom, depending on the participant's preference, within a month after completing the survey. Before each interview, the interviewers reviewed the survey responses to gain a better understanding of the participant's background and recent experiences. This allowed them to tailor the interview questions and probe further as necessary. After each interview, the interviewers wrote analytical memos to capture important context, thoughts, comparisons, and connections across cases and existing literature. These memos help the interviewers actively engage with the data and refine the interview guide for subsequent interviews. Each participant received $10 as compensation for completing the survey, and an additional $15 for the interview in the form of electronic payment or a gift card. The interviews were semi-structured and lasted approximately 30 minutes to an hour. The interview guide explored participants' experiences of racial socialization in various domains, including family, school, peers, neighborhood, organization, and social media. It also inquired about recent experiences discussing anti-Asian and anti-Black racism, with consent from the executive director, facilitators, and participants. The lead author observed and participated in SAO Youth Program member meetings and planning meetings from July 2020 to December 2020. These observations informed the design of the survey and interview questions. The surveys and interviews were conducted between October 2020 and December 2020, 7 to 9 months after the COVID-19 pandemic was declared a national emergency by the U.S. federal government and 5 to 7 months after the police murder of George Floyd. The interviews for this study were conducted in the fall of 2020. As shown in Table 1, more than half of the participants identified as cis female, N equals 26, and second generation, N equals 26. While all participants identified as ethnically Chinese, N equals 35, a few identified as multi-ethnic, N equals 4, or multiracial, N equals 4. The participants' ages ranged from 14 to 18 years, with an average age of 15.8. Parental educational attainment varied, with approximately a third of the participants' parents having completed high school or obtained a GED. While the participants resided throughout Chicago, over a third lived in Bridgeport, N equals 13, and one participant lived in a suburb outside of the city. Almost all of the interviewees attended a Chicago Public Schools, CPS, selective enrollment high school at the time of the study, N equals 33. The participants also reported speaking a variety of languages and dialects at home, with Cantonese being the most common non-English language.